Has anybody heard anything lately about that Doge? You noticed how this idiot went into agencies that regulated his shit, right? And tried to dismantle them. And then didn't do nothing else about nothing that had to do with anything else. If you notice, right? Okay, where's the cuts to the Pentagon? Where's the cuts to his idiot space program? No, because it didn't benefit him. And so now Leon has moved on from dismantling the government because the people just stood up and said, hey, what the fuck, man? You know? Think about it. He says that he's the most radically transparent. But here's the thing. Being transparent doesn't mean that when they ask you questions, you lie about shit. And that's all they've done. So in these clips, I'm going to prove to you, right, that Doge is simply a crime syndicate, right? He's trying to take the heat off of his own businesses so business can operate for him as cheap as possible. That's all that Doge was about. It's a goddamn crime syndicate, right? He had these punks go in the system and just start eviscerating jobs, not knowing what those positions, what the positions were and how important they were to the actual agency itself. You know? And if you think about it, it was just one big crime is what Doge has been. It's been one big crime. And you think about it. They've gone in and they've tampered with people's personal information, and they haven't saved anything. So think about it. Think about the damage, right, that this prick did with this Doge. Him taking our personal information is invaluable. You know, the companies, any company on the planet would love to have all of our information. And he could take it and sell it now. And even adversaries, even people from all over the world, right? It's disgusting. And he's got to be held accountable for this. You know, we can't let him get away with it. So I'm going to prove to you with these clips, right, that this dude's he didn't save shit, and all that Doge was, right, was a green light to steal our private information. That's all it was, right? So I'm going to play these clips, and I want you to see, right, just exactly how much he saved, as in zero. Zero was saved. As a matter of fact, we are spending more in 2025 than we did in 2024 and 2023. That's right. So check this out so you can see. Roll it. Okay, Miss Jessica. Expose this fucking fraud. Roll it.
Talk to you about what Doge has been doing. So you've been making cuts to a lot of the agencies that have open investigations and regulatory battles with your companies.
That's all he's been doing. That was the plan all along. All along was to get rid of anybody that would hold him and his janky ass cars and his janky ass rockets accountable. Yeah, that's all it was. And think about it. What have they resolved? Nothing.
At the same time, you continue to get billions in government contracts. Tesla gets billions in subsidies. How do you explain that to the American people?
Yeah. How do you explain that to the American people, you fish-eyed fool?
Well, everything that Doge does is an open book.
No, it's not. That shit's been riddled with errors. Put a pin in that, what he just said. This hammerhead halibut. Continue.
We're I think the most transparent action, the most transparent.
Nope. You know what these people consider transparency, right? Is that when you ask them a question, right? Of course they answer it, but with a lie. With a lie. That's not transparency at all. Continue, fish face.
In government ever. Every single Doge action is listed on the Doge.gov website.
Nonsense. That's a lie.
It's also listed on the X handle. So if anyone has a concern about any one of those actions, they can bring that up. They can raise that. And I do want to say, like, sometimes we make a mistake. Nobody bats 1,000.
Motherfucker, you don't bat 100. What are you talking about 1,000? Good God. This motherfucker is ugly as it gets.
We will at times make a mistake, and we'll act very quickly to correct it. I'm under such an extreme spotlight, so much scrutiny, that it's literally impossible for me to get away with anything nefarious. Bullshit.
Didn't you hear what she just said? Didn't you hear? You're firing the people that have open investigations against you. What do you think that is?
And obviously, nor do I wish to. So this is a case where
this is fantasy. This is fantasy, pure fantasy.
Radical transparency.
Nonsense. That's a lie.
We're actually willing to admit that we do make mistakes. Often people are not willing to.
No. We got to go and find them, you asshole. You fucking prick, you.
Make mistakes, but we are, but we want to emphasize we fix them quickly, and we're trying to do the right thing for the American taxpayer, for the American people.
Nonsense. You have no idea what you're doing. You and that other imbecile, that functionally illiterate, slack-jawed mouth breather, you know what you've done? You've destroyed a perfectly functioning government, you idiot. Why do you think that nobody wants to buy your janky cars, huh? You moron?
And I think history will be the judge that what we've done here and what we're doing is a very good thing.
Okay, all right. Put a pin in that too. Yeah. Now, let's dabble in reality here.
You sit on a throne of lies.
That's a lie.
Liar!
He's a liar. The demon is a liar.
A liar?
That lying bitch!
Liar!
And now, reality.
As you said, there's been an enormous amount of commotion. We've had a bunch of people lose their jobs. You've had confusion all over the place. What do we have to show for it? Well, back during the campaign, Trump claimed that he was going to cut $2 trillion annual budget. And by the way, our annual budget is $7 trillion. So he would have been talking obviously about a massive cut. They quickly realized that was not successful. In January, they said we'll cut $1 trillion out of the budget. And by the way,
that was 30 days. They went from 2 trillion to 1 trillion.
The government's fiscal year is now more than half over anyway. But then on April 10th, they lowered it to $150 billion. So 2 trillion, 1 trillion, 150. But even the 150 billion, the New York Times did a very thorough investigation of this. 92 billion of it is unspecified. Nobody knows where that's coming from. Of the other 63 billion, there were all kinds of mistakes, including, for example, a contract for 1.9 billion they claim credit for actually canceled during the Biden administration.
Oh! So basically, they fired a bunch of veterans and a bunch of people and have ruined their livelihoods over nothing. Let me see.
So for all the commotion, all the layoffs, all the unhappy people, there's very little to show for it. You can see that most clearly over here because this tracks federal spending month by month since the beginning of each year.
So we've actually spent more. Well, what did you expect when you elected a bankrupted, slack-jawed, mouth-breathing idiot that stopped learning in the 4th grade?
In 2022, and as you would expect, it went up a little bit in 23, a little bit in 24, but it's actually gone up a good bit in 25. So there's still no impact whatsoever on government spending from all of, as I said, the commotion that Musk has created in
the nonsense.
Washington.
Yeah, no, like I said, all that guy tried to do, right, was get the heat off himself and his companies, period. Say it, Anthony. Say yeah! After watching Mr. Ratner's clip there, you tell me, what did they save? It's all bullshit. Nonsense. Nonsense that has to be called out. That's it. Period. Full stop. End of story. Oh, by the way, before I go, can you please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons? Please. And if you want a cool t-shirt or maybe one of these, go to mockingmagamorons.com and check out the website. Got a lot of products there that you can show your disdain for this prick. Thanks a lot, guys. Peace.